Hey, it's been a while because I've been pretty slothful lately. Um, a few days ago, I just got approved to work from home at my call center job for the deaf and hard of hearing. Actually, it was a couple of months ago, but I just got my equipment last Friday. All I need is for an Ethernet cable to come in the mail, and then I will probably be working from home by Wednesday or Thursday. So I had to set that up. I've also did a chapter update way too late last time. I mean, it was scheduled for the 15th. I did not get it done until the 19th or something, and I haven't even started on my next chapter yet. I've been kind of out of it and drifty and just like watching too much other stuff on here. But I am going to try to get that done by the end of Halloween week. It probably won't be by October 30th or even October 31st. It might be November 1st or 2nd, right before the election. I did go through all the articles about Margaret Hamill, but not the ones about Stella Pajunas, and I've still got to do more research even about the IBM Selectric typewriter. I'm doing this too much on the fly, I know, and I'm just finding myself struggling to get anything done. Actually, I've been thinking about after my book is done, if ever it is done, and I am going through a pretty dispassionate phase right now. I want to pivot to making more videos, and I want to make more professional videos than what I've been doing, because I'm clearly so amateur. Despite 100 videos over 10 years, I'm seeing these people half my age, like John and Titanium Tendons, putting up things that have been nicely edited in Adobe Premiere or whatever, which I hadn't even heard about until a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I've been a couple of the YouTubers I like who aren't even typing YouTubers, but have shared a lot about how they made videos, and it makes me want to do it more and more professionally, but that probably won't be until sometime next year. Anyway, I did have a series of videos I wanted to make after that trivia video, and this is going to be really late because I have to go to bed soon, but I've mentioned this on the Type Racer Discord a number of times. At the end of this year, or maybe it'll be at the very start of 2021, I am planning to do a competitive typing awards show where I'm going to award the winners of various categories. Nobody's ever done this before, as far as I can tell, at least not since the classic era of the 20s or 30s or whatever, but if there was ever anything like that then, which there probably wasn't, but I thought it would be cool, since it seems like the typing scene is integrating more than it ever has been before. Like in the past, there used to be just Type Racer people, or just Nitro Type people, or just 10 Fast Fingers people, or just Inner Steno people, or whatever, but now pretty much everybody is doing pretty much everything and is on all the sites. So there isn't just one, or there isn't just a bunch of scenes that are loosely connected. It's all becoming one, and now you have these more professional YouTubers doing their historical videos and things, and it seemed time for something like this to exist. I have decided to name the awards the Typee Awards. That is spelled Typee. I'm naming it after a book by Herman Melville, which I own and have not read. This is the book. I don't even know what it's about. I've never read Melville, not even Moby Dick. I'm such a Philistine, but I own like 1,000 books or something that were just given to my mom randomly when other people were giving away their own collections of books, and one of them was like this set of, I don't know, it was like 70 literary classics or something, and that was one of them. And when I saw the title, I thought that would just be great because it just goes along with, you know, the Grammys or the Emmys or the Tonys or the ESPYs or whatever, because that's just what you do with award show titles. So once I saw that, I knew that would be the title. I have decided to have, well, I ideally want to have 20 categories. I have not come up with 20 different categories yet, but I'm close. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to have 5 nominees per category. I am going to select one of the nominees for each category myself on this recording, and I'm going to have a panel of about 10 to 15 people selecting, or however many I can get, but I want people who are informed about typing history and know a lot about the history of multiple sites, which is why I've selected the specific people I've selected. I'm going to have my fellow panelists choose 2 more nominees for each category, and then I'm going to open up 2 nominees to the fans, to fan voting, once I've announced the nominees that my panelists have selected, which would probably be in November or December or something. The people I ideally want to have on my panelist, or many of them, I want people who are producing content, especially historical content or analytical content, who know the competitive typing scene inside and out. And I want them to be people who are currently active. There are people I would normally pick for this, like Michael DeRoche or Mako or Kathy, who have not been really active enough in the last year. They don't know a lot of what's going on lately, so I don't know if they'd make the best pick. So I probably won't be choosing them for this panel, but the kinds of people I would want would be the people who are producing videos about the history of various typing sites. That would include people like Ace Typer and John and Penguin Typer and Speed Typing and Titanium Tendons. I think all those people should be there, clearly. Titanium and John have already said yes. I want to have a mix of people, some of whom are best known as type-racer typists, some of whom are best known as negative typists, some of whom are best known as 10 fast fingers typists, and I want some representation at least from like the inner steno and typing zone scenes and monkey type scenes as well. I want people who are like familiar at least with all of those to some degree or enough degree. So I think Andrea Klagi-Farsi should be on my panel, but because he's one of the few intersteno and typing zone people who's really active, both there and on the other sites in general. I think Cameron should be there because he's done a lot of historical research in attempting to rank and evaluate typists in the past. I think Czech should be there just for his success. I think Jash should be there because he wrote his own typing guide that talked about each of the platforms and the sites and each individual typist in great detail, including information on their personal lives and information about their typing styles that he got all over the place. He seems to know a lot about the stars everywhere, including people I'm not very familiar with. I think Keegan should be there because he's done a lot of statistical research, even outside TypeRacer, even though it's primarily known for TypeRacer. I think Nico and Taryn should be there because of the announcing work they've done for the Clicking Championship, and in Nico's case, also the Ultimate Typing Championship. And I think VL should be there because he's been heavily active on both TypeRacer and Nitro Type. There are probably people I'm leaving out there who know a lot about all these sites, but I'm looking for people who have like deep historical knowledge as well as people who are still knowledgeable about today's scene as well. They haven't checked out like years ago, because these are going to be awards for the year. There might be people I did not list there who probably should be on this panel, and if you feel you are one, let me know. Okay, Typist of the Year. I guess this should go to the person who was the fastest typist of the year, probably across all sites. I mean, I could have gone several ways with this. I could have gone for who I thought the most influential typist was, or the most popular typist was. I mean, these can always go down to popularity votes. I think that those should be separate categories, though, so I'm going to make them separate categories. Typist of the Year should go to the person who was the fastest typist that year. And even though he has not surpassed me outside of English, as far as I can tell yet, I still think that I will be nominating Czech. And I'm also, here's my ground rule for me and all of my panelists. I am not going to nominate myself, and I am not going to allow any of my panelists to nominate themselves. However, if somebody else nominates you, I will allow each person to vote for themselves or something of their own creation. But I will be nominating Czech for Typist of the Year. Breakout of the Year, or Breakout Typist of the Year. I intended this to be the typist who was not well known at the start of 2020, who became a major star by the end of the year. Now, there are a lot of people this could apply to. Josh Hu is the most obvious, but Adamski, Conspire, and Aiden, I guess, are certainly up there. And it's debatable who would count as a breakout, obviously. I want somebody who became famous on a bunch of sites all at once, ideally. But I don't think somebody like Raptor should qualify because he was well known on Nitro Type because he had already broken my record there in 2018. And even I knew who he was, even though I hadn't been on Nitro Type for years. So if he broke through, permeated through before 2020 like that, I don't think he should qualify. And I'd kind of say the same thing for Jash and Izanagi. It's borderline, but I think they were probably too well known at the start of the year, and I'm looking for somebody who just exploded into stardom this year, and I think that the best nominee for that is Josh Hu. I will be nominating Josh. Rookie of the Year. For this category, I will be selecting the typist who had never used a typing site prior to the year 2020, who was the most successful this year, and I will be nominating Typer Unknown. There is that new guy who emerged in the past few days, Gold, whatever, I don't remember. I was barely reading it, but I saw that he was already breaking some of my scores. However, he has been on typing sites prior to 2020, so I think that he would be a better nominee for the breakout category than the rookie category. But I'm still Typer Unknown had never used a typing site until apparently he read the IMA I did on Reddit, and he finished in the top 10, which nobody was expecting. So I'm going to go for Josh Hu for Breakout and Typer Unknown for Rookie of the Year. Burst Typist of the Year. This is something different from just being the best typist. Being the best typist over a few seconds is different than being the best typist over an extended period of time. For this, I will not be nominating Czech. I will be nominating Raptor, who did beat Czech's high score record, kept alternating with him on Nitro Type. He also broke the 10 Fast Fingers record, even though he deleted his account, which removed the evidence. And I believe, last I checked, he was leading on Monkey Type as well. In fact, let me check that out and confirm it. I did not prepare a script for this, so I'm doing this totally off the cuff. Oh wow, Josh today just took the lead on the global leaderboard for 15 seconds. And Bailey has it for a minute. Despite that, I'm still going to go for Raptor. I'm still going to nominate Raptor. Although there are a number of good candidates there, obviously. Josh would also be one, Bailey would be one, Taryn would be one, Czech would be one. Endurance Typist of the Year, it's clearly Czech. In the Ultimate Typing Championship this year, I ended up doing better on the shorter quotes and worse on the longer ones, which means he was actually slipping up more on the short quotes than he was on the long ones, which is a sign that he's fully overtaken me at endurance typing. Czech is going to be my nominee. Obviously, I'm expecting 5 nominees for each category, so other people will be nominated for that, but I'm going to nominate Czech for that as well. Site of the Year, I'm going to nominate what I think was the best typing site this year, and I still think, despite much more competition this year, that it was TypeRacer, and I am going to nominate TypeRacer. I don't expect it to win, though. I'm also going to have a category for Best News Site of the Year. There have been a number of noteworthy news sites that have emerged this year, including Monkey Type, Keymash, Type.gg, and the new TyperX for the Ultimate Typing Championship. And even though I know Monkey Type is going to win, I'm going to nominate Keymash instead, because I think it might get lost in the shuffle a bit, because Cameron didn't announce it or publicize it as much as some other sites. But I tend to also like multiplayer styled games more than single player styled ones. And I like games where you type actual sentences more than random words. And I know Monkey Type offers the ability to do that, but I personally prefer Keymash's aesthetic, although they're both great sites. I mean, Keymash is basically as good as TypeRacer, and Monkey Type is basically as good as 10 Fast Fingers already. Monkey Type will be nominated, but I'm going to nominate Keymash since I think it's more likely to be forgotten. Best Discord of the Year, I am going to nominate, and I could choose any of a number of Discords. There are a ton of typing Discords. I am going to nominate the Ultimate Typing Championship Discord for this over some of the ones I use more often, just because it was more serious with a lot less BS or dramatic garbage or shit posting or the like, and it was also populated by types who were generally faster, more serious, older. It seems like the discussions there were better when it was going on than you'll get at most other places. That's not to say it's the only Discord I like. I think the Type Racer Discord is doing the best it's done for years, but I think the Ultimate Typing Championship Discord was where the excitement was this year. Moderator of the Year. For this category, I will be nominating who I thought was the best moderator across all the typing sites and or their Discords, and usually it will come down to the Discords. I think the Type Racer moderators would be the best choices for this category generally because they tend to double up as both moderators and for the site and for the Discord, and I will be nominating Tim Jeffrey. I was very impressed with how he selected a lot more intellectual quotes for the site from obscure science materials, and after Michael DeRoche and I skewed way too much towards pop culture, me more than him, I guess. It was a welcome sight to see more intellectual material on the site, and that's the main reason I chose him. Commentator of the Year. For this, you can nominate anybody who's either made typing videos or who has created content, like if you wanted to nominate me for my book or Jash for his typing guide, or anybody who's releasing content in 2020, or if you want to nominate Keegan for announcing during the typing match, or Nico for announcing during the Ultimate Typing Championship, or just one of the regular content creators like John or Speed Typing or Titanium Type or Titanium Tendons and so on. There are a lot of people commentating on typing now, way more than any previous year, and this should be a category. And I'm going to nominate Titanium Tendons. I generally liked his videos the most. I found them the most professionally done. He put a lot of love into them, even though he ended up deleting them, and that was disappointing. And but at least I helped him find where he had stored a lot of his old videos on his hard drive, and he managed to find some of them as a result after I asked him if they were stored in his video programs still. And I was glad to see it, because I enjoyed his videos the most. That's not to say I didn't like lots of other people's videos, because I did. But I will be nominating Titanium Tendons for this. Story of the Year. For this category, well, plain and simple, what was the biggest news story in typing in this year? And I will be nominating the death of Reckful. That was the biggest story this year. Although he hasn't done much typing lately, he was obviously a huge influence on getting thousands, maybe millions even, of people into typing. He was one of the most influential figures, and it just sucked. But I mean, it was even bigger than the Ultimate Typing Championship in my mind, so that is my choice. Although I'm famous for really not being into memes and almost anything that smacks of internet culture, I decided to add a category for Meme of the Year, because I figured it would be something that a lot of the people in the community would be into. What was the best inside joke in typing in the year 2020? That could be a person or just some catchphrase or whatever you want to nominate here. I want to see your creativity. My choice for the Meme of the Year is Yang Gang, which is what people in the Ultimate Typing Championship live stream kept shouting at the competitor Matthew Yang, the underdog Cinderella story, who was seeded 38th but surprisingly made to the top 10, and his fan base was surprisingly devoted and enjoyed making puns on the similarity of his name to a failed presidential candidate. So I think that was typing's best inside joke of the year, although I pay so little attention to the chat a lot of the times that many people probably disagree. If I keep doing this in multiple years, I probably won't be doing these specific quotes or these specific nominations every year, but I wanted to do nominations for the best quote and the worst quote on any site. You can choose from any site: TypeRacer, NitroType, Typing Zone, 10 Fast Fingers. People submit permanent quotes on there sometimes. Ultimate Typing Championship, I don't care. Just not a string of random words. An actual sentence-based quote that you thought, well, all right, I'm going to have a different standard for best and worst quote and easiest and hardest quote. For the best and worst quotes, I want to have the people select what their favorite quote on the site is and their least favorite quote. And what I mean by that is the quote they like the most content-wise and the quote they like the least content-wise, rather than what they think are the easiest or hardest or what they just like or don't like typing. Because those should go under easiest and hardest. I'm interested to see what quotes people just like and hate as actual quotes. And you can pick them from any site. I don't care what site you pick the quotes from. But I'm curious to see what's really popular and what's really unpopular among the quotes on the site. I've added quotes myself, and I'm curious what people like and what they don't, content-wise. Now, I suspect people are going to all select different things for this, but okay, my favorite quote on any site is one that I myself added onto TypeRacer. Well, there are a ton I like from the ones I added onto TypeRacer, but the one, if I had to select one that I liked the most, it would be this from the movie, the documentary movie, The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters, which profiled a bunch of people who were going after the Donkey Kong high score records. I love that movie. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I play video games, which I think is a far superior addiction to any of those other ones. Now, I actually got the quote wrong. I got that from IMDb. I own the movie, so I was being really lazy. That's not the exact quote. It's a slight butchering of it, but it perfectly summed up typing game sites just as well as it did Donkey Kong in my view. So that's my nomination for best quote on the site. And Taryn beat me on it. Taryn also liked that movie. And the quote I personally hate the most is also a TypeRacer quote. And this won't be a popular choice. Most Americans do not own passports. They're not a naturally curious people. If you were to lock an American for 60 years in an empty underground bunker which contained nothing but a woolly tea cozy, the American would not even be curious enough to be tempted to see if the tea cozy would make a serviceable hat. They're far more likely to arrest the tea cozy, intern it illegally in Guantanamo Bay. That is my least favorite quote on any site. And that won't be a popular choice, but it's just reflective of all the George W. Bush era sneering and contempt that people had for rural people who just weren't into cosmopolitanism or whatever, sneering at people for not being able to travel, when I mean a lot of Americans couldn't even afford to travel, if they're paycheck to paycheck or whatever. It's just dripping with contempt for, it's an attempt to be funny that's dripping with contempt for anybody who disagrees with it, and it reflects so much of what I hated about the first decade of the 21st century. That sneering tone. It's supposed to be funny, but it just ends up coming off as offensive when you think about it longer. There are lots of quotes I hate, a lot of the book fail quotes, about the sweetness of ninjas and Walter the farting dog and the zen of farting. That's all just stupid beyond belief. And I mean, it was probably intended to be stupid, and they were submitted by a supposed group of people called Book Fail. So it was obviously supposed to make fun of stupid books, but it just gets annoying typing this stuff over and over. But I found that more annoying than anything else on the site. And I'll be alone on that, and it probably won't get other votes, but I still wanted to nominate that because I hate that so much. All right. For the easiest quote on the site, I will be nominating the quote from Friends that everybody gets the absurd high scores on. They don't know that we know, they know we know. That's got to be the easiest quote anywhere. It's probably the only thing anybody anywhere has ever done 400 words per minute on. So I'm just going to take that off the board. You've got to submit, you've got to come up with other things to nominate in addition to that. For the hardest quote on the site, I am going to select the misspelled alphabet quote in the Ultimate Typing Championship, which is probably the hardest quote seen anywhere because it caught people off guard and they weren't expecting it. And typing the alphabet is not that fast to begin with, especially with spaces in it, but transposing some of the letters makes it way harder. I mean, I only ended up getting 101 words per minute. Chat got 72, and everybody else was in the 40s, I think. That was probably the hardest anywhere, even more than that Indonesian quote that accidentally got added to the English Type Racer universe. Most popular typist. Here's where you can nominate, well, you could nominate your favorite typist. You should nominate who you think the most popular typist on the site was. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how fast somebody is, just how well liked they are. That should be a category, and it should be separate from Typist of the Year, which should go to the fastest typist. The most liked typist, that should be something else. So I'm going to have this a separate category. And I will be nominating John, the Dvorak guy. I can't think of anybody anywhere who dislikes him. He's popular on every site. Despite being a Dvorak guy, he's not a Dvorak supremacist or whatever who sneers at QWERTY users. And I'm against QWERTY people who sneer at Dvorak too. I mean, people think I'm one of those people. I'm not. Nobody should be sneering at anybody. It's just a stupid thing to care about other people's layout choices. It's like sneering at somebody for using the wrong operating system or something. But John has built up a lot of respect over the years. He's likable. He's done great instructional videos. He's now surpassed me in YouTube views to become the most popular YouTuber. He is the guy I feel I should nominate for this. Best username. You can pick a username from anybody on any site that you want. There have been a lot of usernames I've liked, have thought were funny. My favorite one, as I can recall, was I Know a Lot 4. That is INOAHLOT4. Some guy named Noah making a pun on his name. And you know I'm into that sort of thing. I mean, almost all my chapter titles in my book are puns, and one of my Type Racer accounts and a Nitro Type account I used very briefly was Omniscience, spelled SEANCE instead of the way Omniscience is actually spelled. I guess I Know a Lot 4 is very similar, and I mean there are a number of Noahs who do that sort of thing with their name. I know there's some pundit on Twitter whose username there is no opinion, which I also kind of think is funny. But yeah, that's my favorite username, although you all probably know a lot more usernames than I do, and know what the best and the funniest usernames are, and I felt that should be a category. Having all these different categories for like best moderators and most popular typists and best memes. I imagine people are going to nominate certain typists as memes, and best usernames. This gives a lot of people opportunities to win typing awards that they might not otherwise be able to do if it was just based on who's the fastest typist or something. I mean, maybe, what do I have here? 19 categories, I think. It's 18. There was something else I was talking about on the Type Racer Discord. I might add 2 more categories to this later. Don't be surprised if I round this out to an even 20, because I think that's better. 20 categories with 5 nominees each for a total of 100 nominated entities. But I thought this was a cool thing to do to like give some exposure to all sorts of aspects of the typing community beyond just the fastest typist, because I mean that can get boring after a while. Maybe there should be something for the most devoted typist who does the most races or something. I know that's something a lot of people are into that I'm not personally into, but maybe I'll have a category for that later. But at the moment I'm going to stick with these 18, and we'll see what other categories I might add in the future. Probably the next time I do a video about this, I will have already consulted my panelists for their selections, and I'm going to have my selections for each category along with the 2 that my panelists choose besides what I nominated. But this should be interesting and fun and different and something nobody's ever really seen before in typing. Now, I've got some other videos I want to do in the near future. 3 other things I'm planning for in the next couple of weeks, although I'm probably going to focus on my next chapter now before doing any of them. I'm going to display on a future recording or stream all the various books and medals and keyboards I've collected over the years, showing you all my typing loot, all my typing swag. I hate that word. But there was somebody who, like many videos ago, asked me to show all the keyboards I owned and demonstrate them. I may not demonstrate them all, but I'll show you all the things I have in my collection. I hardly throw any of them out. I mean, a lot of the keyboards don't work anymore. Something got spilled in them, or the print on the letters went away or whatever, but somebody did ask us to see all my keyboards on a recording, and I'll probably be doing that next. Also, well, one thing I will show here as a teaser, on various sites, like I think some of them on eBay, some of them on Alibris, and some of these on Amazon, I bought a bunch of the actual typing books that the championship typists typed in the early 20th century, especially in the 1920s and 1930s. Here is one example of such a book, Kimball Contest Copy. It has all the texts that J.N. Kimball, the administrator of the typing contest of the 1920s and 1930s, wrote. This is what they actually type. I have not read any of these yet because I don't want to spoil it, because I think I might want to type the contest from 1920 in the near future for the 100th anniversary of the contest. I do own the one from 1920. I don't remember which one it is, but there you go. You can see what people were typing back then. You can also see that the words people typed were a lot easier. You aren't going to see people typing, I don't know, Ulan Bator or Pachycephalosaurus or whatever that nitro type meme is, or the lyrics that we didn't start the fire. I mean, it's the text that they had to type, as you can see there, were probably easier than what we type now, but when you consider that these typists made like fewer than an error a minute, that's still insane, even typing such basic words as that. At some point, I want to test my mettle by typing one of these, and I will probably choose the 1921 for the 100th anniversary, although I think I'm already past when the 1920 contest was held, which I think was a few days ago, but I've just been slow and lagging at this. In addition to those videos, I think I may want to make a video in tribute to the YouTubers I like to watch, which are mostly not typing YouTubers. I mostly do not watch typing YouTube channels, although I'll give the typing channels I like the most some press, obviously. And I want to watch a lot more typing videos, but at the moment, the people I'm really into watching are music YouTubers, especially Todd in the Shadows, and NASCAR YouTubers, especially Slapshoes, which well, he spells his name in Leet Speak, so it's S1APSH0ES, which I find kind of dorky, but he is just as dorky as me, so but yeah, I really like their videos especially, and I probably want to finish all of their stuff before I finish all the typing videos, but I do want to eventually watch all of Titanium Tendons and Speed Typing and John's videos especially, because they seem to be the best three creators at the moment, although there are probably people I'm not aware of that I'm snubbing there, and I hope they'll be nominated to bring attention to them so I can start watching them and see for myself. But anyway, thanks for watching, and those are my nominees, and I'm going to have my panel nominate 2 more in each of these categories, and then I'm going to have the fans nominate 2 more that were not nominated by either myself or the panelists, and this should be fun and a way to create engagement that nobody really thought of before. And it's been a long time since I thanked my patrons for anything, so I should do that now. I have some new patrons recently, although I'm probably going to lose some when my next chapter is late, but I'm going to thank everybody, including my Gold tier subscribers: Keegan, Linsk, Jashpoon, Alan McCreary, Ollie F., Robot Butler, Richard Hoffmeyer, David Mora, Gigi Herman, who is one of my high school classmates. She was the layout editor of Horizons Literary Magazine in junior high school when I was the co-editor-in-chief. And I had one gold tier subscriber who wished to remain anonymous. And I want to also thank my silver tier subscribers: Fida, Harold, Aaron Adams, Dessel, Milos Danchek. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not providing more material for the silver tier subscribers. I'm just really losing it lately. And my bronze tier subscribers: Joseph Moon, Tim Jeffrey, Chompy, Pierre M., Cameron Touchette, 1% Better, Ben Lowe, Veroxis, JJ, Noah Horn, Jang Tan Lee, Daniel, Ardian Peach, Jeremy Odell. So long, everyone.